Good morning, friends. Today is video 10, I believe, uh, July 26th, 2023. Sorry, the lighting. It's cloudy and raining outside, so I usually depend on the weather to light up my uh, modest, primitive studio, but very effective. So I got few notes. I don't want to make an independent or record an independent video for a follow-up on the last video. But I want to say on the entry that Baghdad invasion, supposedly when he blasted the door and then entered, uh, he showed that he was hesitant because it's a big act, but there was no such thing. There was no hesitation. I mean, he showed so, but history tells us there was no hesitation. I mean, no matter what, any opportunity that came in order to destroy that uh, La or Hal and its new thing, they took it without any problem or hesitation or oscillation or feeling of guilt or contrition, right? I'm talking about the Bowmans. So there's when he blasted his way through, there is no sound of explosion. So what he means by that is they entered through the green hat. The green hat is what's called hypocrisy, or the Shiites posturing and masquerading as Muslims while they're really red, right? And to them, that was an opportunity, and they did what they've done. Uh, all right, so there was no sound of explosion. That tells you that when they started entering the Allah in around Baghdad, supposedly he didn't feel anything, right? Uh, so the entry was also read, and again, I repeat that very same fact that the entry by David Bowman was not as David Bowman. That red thing, he entered as Shia, as local thing, right? And then paved the land for the Mongols to come in, right? Which was led by his other David Bowman in the east, right? So that's that. The other thing, if you recall, on the uh, pods out in space, there was also a HAL, right? You know that HAL with the black monolith and eye or the stone, and then the section of bottom. But that was white, colored white. I think what he's trying to say there is that has other HALs elsewhere, right? That's what he's trying to say. The other thing is Pool, if you recall, when Frank, the guy who got lost in space, had worn or donned the green spacesuit or disguise, right? But then when he was in the pod, he was changing colors. The colors changed to red. Shifting colors means they're not just disguised as this so and so religion, and rather it is a variety of disguises. Okay, now Jupiter and beyond is really gonna tell you, as I promised, this is not in space, even though it says Jupiter and beyond the infinite, right? I don't know what beyond the infinite means. I mean, beyond the infinite, there is nothing beyond the infinite, right? If it's infinite, it's infinite. There is nothing beyond it. I'm talking about facts here and logic and no philosophical notions. So beyond the infinite, I don't know what's the infinite. Does it have a finite limit that you can go beyond? Or if it's infinite, how could you go beyond it? Uh, Beyond the infinite, I think here he means space. This is not space, this is beyond the infinite, right? The infinite is space, obviously, or, creation or something of the sort. So this is not a grammatical error or typo. Uh, the infinite means the creation, beyond God, the infinite. He's an infinite being, he has no limits. When you say the word Allahu Akbar, God is, they translate it into the West as God is great. That's not how it translates. It translates God is greater. So greater is greater than great. Why? Because no matter how great you are or anything is, there is greater still, right? Greater, not great. So I think that's what he means, beyond God or something of the sort. Okay, let's begin. Again, now we have, when he's saying the infinite, he has that satanic music of Legiti or what, Khashatoria or whatnot. My reflection on the screen. That's funny. That's Jupiter. Now, why do I say the infinite? And as you can see, the black monolith, or La, or Had, or Muhammad, is floating here, right? And then you see Jupiter, and then you see, let me get my scratcher. One, two, three, four, and five moons here. You get like four moons and then five. I don't know, Jupiter has like 27 or 37 moons. You know, it's kind of crowded in there. And there's a moon here. That's number five. And there's that enormous uh, intellect, right? Remember, they declared it as enormous intellect, HAL, and we know what it is, the cubic house in Mecca, unprecedented revolution in science, and you know, calculations, formulas, you know, like he declared into what he is. So now I'm seeing one, two, three, four, and then five. I don't know about these two. Uh, I think that's what it is. Now the black monolith disappears in the background. And there's the ship. So now time to explain why this is not in space. If you recall, when he said the infinite, now infinite, I described it as God being infinite, beyond the infinite, right? You know, beyond God. Uh, what is Jupiter? From our history, we know that Romans and Greek worship Jupiter. Jupiter is Jupiter, I think, in Roman, and then Zeus in one of the two, either in Rome or Greek. He's called Zeus, right? Now that denotes Europe. Why am I saying this? Because I think this moon here is Europa. So I think it has a moon called Europa, maybe Saturn, I don't know, but I'm making the assumption. I should have looked it up. So that I think what he's showing here is Europe. So when he said earlier on that, boy, my neighbors are picking up, my Jewish neighbors are picking at my studio. Okay. So my when I said earlier, you know, like when he said earlier that this black monolith has like a powerful ray or emission toward Jupiter, he means toward Europe. Meaningly, at that point, during early on, you know, like Asia was basically subdued. So did Africa. So did, you know, here and there, and it had, but then it had set its sight on Europe, right? That is black monolith or La or Hard or Islam, right? And they achieved like enormous success, but not completely due to undermining and betrayals and things of the sort. But hey, no complaint here, right? Because eventually they moved into Europe as non-invaders, right? And that was uh, that's recorded, right? So now um, this is Europe. And this is Rome. If this is Rome, then it has satellites. One, two, three, four, right? I don't know about that, maybe five. I think I saw five at one point. What are these moons? Well, one is England, one is Germania, one is Spain, right? One is probably, I don't know, you know, Baltic, one is, you know, Europe at that point was like, I think four or five uh, kind of different kingdoms and entities, right, that vied for control and. So here I'm seeing probably England, Germany, France, Spain, right, and then something else, maybe Italy. I don't know. That's what he's saying here, and that big moon I think is called Europa. You know what? Let me try to dig it up. Moon Europa, right? Yeah, Jupiter. Yeah, so that's Europa. That is Europa. That's what he's telling you. Now, the 666, that ship, and it's 12 tribes of Israel controlling by, there's a separator or an isolation between them and the 63, and they in turn control the Earth or that sphere could be masonry, right? By way of 63, but there between the 63 and those 666, right? Now they're coming into Europe. You know, they're called investors, by the way, and French Revolution and Cromwell and Martin Luther and many others, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. And this is the beginning of the war. So the first war is the destruction of the caliphate, the umbrella of Muslims, right, or Arabs for that matter, the La in Baghdad and in the Middle East. Although they were defeated, but the damage was too great, in particularly for knowledge and science and learning, right? Basically, that the humankind vehicle of learning and that spaceship that was taken off like with massive sum of knowledge and learning and so on was basically stranded in space because the Dave Bowmans didn't like the notion of somebody else, being learned, right? So now they've come into Europe. Notice, before the ship here, of 666 and the 12 tribes and then the 63, right, and masonry supposedly, La, or the black monolith, was in there, but they removed him, right? That's the gist of it, It may sound like benign or innocent or just haphazard or, some arrangement for a movie, but no, it means everything here means something. So the black monolith was there first in Jupiter, and then it was like dislodged or expelled or something of the sort. Why? Because now this here, Jews and their 666 and 63 and Masonry have come and expelled it, right? But not fully, it kind of got out of the way, but it's still there. Believe it or not, they were in the Americas too. And that's like, notice now the black monolith is outside of Jupiter on its own, floating on its own now out in space, no longer in Jupiter. Or that's what he's saying. The meaning of it is that ship of David Bowman's, right? Kicked out the learning and the black monolith, enormous intellect out of Europe. Notice here again, he shows the crescent moon and that supposedly evil god, right? This blue here, if you see blue, that's only a reflection of my screen here, right? So this is not part of, excuse the setup. Yep, that's Europa, right? And then that's the crescent moon and Jupiter. Or Europe. Again, the black monolith is here, floating here. That's like the presence of the most significant discovery in the history of science, but it's supposed to be called epidemic, maybe pandemic, I don't know, or terrorism or whatever it is, and it should be covered, and then it's evil and from hell, and it's coffee, and that's what it is. Then again, now I see the 4 moons, and then the Europa. These are the kingdoms of Europe. Christian kingdoms of Europe. I don't know, Norman, whatever. Right? Now here, I think I'm going to go back and say they're still showing the black monolith, meaning it is spreading in Europe when it was like now being chased. And we're talking like at least 1,000 years ago, right? When it's being chased by David Bohm, right? Now it wasn't being chased by Bowman. Bowman basically floated with it. Where it went, ever it went, was welcome to ride along. And that's what Vin Diesel says. Remember in the Pitch Black movie, he says, "Ah, you made a mistake. You didn't kill me," or something like that. Then again, that's the monolith. And that's the god, right? And then you got the crescent and so on. That's supposedly evil god. Okay, now as you can see, the monolith is beyond, right? And then comes this ominous-looking, insect-looking spaceship. Now, this here is by itself, right? The black monolith is now, guess what? It's by itself. Not just that. Notice now the color of the sides is basically blue, is what he's saying. Is they're coming in there into Europe as blue, in the monolith, the green. You see their point here? That's how they crawled and slithered into Europe. You know, Slytherins, right? The Harry Potter thing, right? They came to Europe riding on the wagon of learning and knowledge and the generosity and power and civility and of the black monolith, Allah or La or Muhammad or Hal. Now it's being taken over. Again, in Europe, they got helped by way of the Ashashins, or those Reds, by the way. Spain and France and Italy and so on, where basically the Jews grew occults such as Shiites, such as Alawis, such as so on and so on, in the middle of Islam. They weren't called Masonry. That's like after Islam, right? And they basically they're the ones to tear down the presence of Islam wherever they went, right? And that's how the Jews didn't really the Bowmans, the Kubricks, they didn't really face Muslims face to face. Really, they never did. Not even in debates, not even in science, not in war, not in anything. Really. Supposedly, the two half brothers, right? As you can see now, there's more than one God, right? That's what they're saying. Crescent moon, crescent moon, crescent moon. They presented, they shattered or introduced cracks in the body of La, right? And these are the hidden, like they're in the dark, right? The hidden entities such as Hashashins, such as Shiites, such as like Sufis and so on and so forth. These guys are like imposters. They try to say they have knowledge. They don't have knowledge. What they do is take from Muslim scholars knowledge and so on, and they twist it and like and tie it and add things to it. Kind of make it a little bit cryptic, and they call it philosophy, right? And some of them, actually, the Jews say, "Oh, this was like from Greek. There was nothing there." So that La and his world of Muslims and Arabs is so sophisticated and so diverse that it has room for occults to go in it, right? And have enough materials in it for others to use and mutilate and distort and produce something supposedly new, but that's really detrimental and damaging to humanity. But this is the war in Europe, and you will see you can see, the God and so on. So 1, 2, 3. So 3, I don't know. There's like Shiites, there's Alawis, and supposedly they have similarities in like good and evil and the 666 and whatnot, right? Um, they're different actually in number of sense. I don't know. That is probably Sufis, you know. So now that supposedly evil God, I don't know, or good God, I don't know, is now shattered. He's got like problem on his hands, right? You know, his dwelling, virtual dwelling or abode in the universe, or he is the infinite, right? Now he has like gods, right? Vying to become him or trying to beat him up, similar to the lions in the Lion Bride, right? You know, when the young lions come and they dislodge them, and oh, this is not even the same. This is even evil. So now, as you can see, that this here supposed masonry, which didn't exist before, didn't exist really. I mean, this is a new existence. All that they tell you about it being like 1,000 years old or so is lies, folks. It wasn't there. Some ideas were like even those ideas of good and evil, they were stolen from Yemen and here and there. And it's even in the Quran, you know, good and evil is mentioned in the Quran that he وَنَبْلُوَكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ, that we will put you through trials by evil and good, and to us you shall return. You know, this is a verse in the Quran. So this now here is eyeing this God and his, I don't know, maybe those small crescent moons are angels or something, I don't know. Notice, now it opened up, so the war is about to commence. Now the monolith is back again, blue now. This blue, not black. Or at least mired and smeared with blue. Not all black, right? And it disappears again. Okay, so there's an alignment now. What I'm trying here to say is in the Quran, there is something about saucers upon saucers that he tells humans that in the Surah Al-Inshiqaq, the splitting asunder. I don't know how to translate it in English. Uh, uh, or splitting the sky asunder. And then he talks about alignment of the moon, right? And this zenith or something, right? And then he says, you shall mount sasar upon sasar, rising up. And that's the word tabak, upon tabak sasar. That's what we use when we were little to say they're like flying saucers and so on, right? And it was actually portrayed or enacted in a movie by Spader, Stargates, right? You know, those like saucers, you know, rising up and then lifting you on heaven. So here's something similar. So there's like the 4 moons. One has like a laughing face, that big one. I think that's Ganymede or something. I think there's 5. There's like one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Maybe Europa. I don't know. Maybe this is Europa. So now David Bowman gotten out of that thing, that edifice, that blue sphere. Now he's going it alone. He's going to like knock out this guy alone. Oh, the worms, lizard. Oh man, he wouldn't go out on his own. Not even, but in person. I asked one of them one day, you know, why do you guys do that? He says, oh, God promised them to fight for them. Really? And you fight him back with who? And then again, you got the 4-1, right? 4-1, remember? Erdogan and those Jews of the Middle East, you know, flashing for. I don't know what that is. That shows up again. Now he's lined up, right? He's gonna use him. So David Bowman, he's destroying him, but he wants to take his stuff. This is like killing somebody and then taking over their castle or their house. I mean, books and knowledge and science, although they burned most of it. You know, lucky humanity, some of it survived too. Okay, it disappears again. So Bowman did like work out this Salah or Hal or Muhammad or whatever it is, and then until it finally disappeared, and now he launches the war. He launches the war. Just pay attention to what you're gonna see here. He launches the war in Europe. Okay, so the colors here that you will see and the shapes indicate nations and battles and epochs of history in Europe and political movements and so on. So here, this strip here from here until he lands wherever that is, right? He or in the say in the castle of Allah, right? Or in heavens, right? Paradise. That's supposedly what we say. That's where Allah is, way out in space, right? Up in space. So here, everything, colors and so on, denotes the battle. Like for example, he would show you green color or whatever color, and then he changes things into blue, right? Meaningly, he, right? David Bowman, is now taking over. And then you, genitalias, I mean Gentiles and Goyim and so on, like, you know what to do, right? You're gonna go back into the animal farm. That's what he's trying to put you back in. Begins with skirmishes. You got green, you got blue, you got, it's mixed up, all mixed up now. Now give me a second there. So now he's overwhelmed. I think, he's overwhelmed by the beginning of the fights and wars and so on. Meaningly, what he's trying to say is there is a chance of him really being successful in this war, and there is probably another chance of winning this war in Europe against Lah or Hal. This guy, right? Right, 23, the two triangles, and or 666, right? Chances are weak in winning that war, is what he's saying. Now, notice he's wearing red. He's not fighting himself in the blue. As I told you, I never seen the blue suit being used here, period. Now here is like the fighting and takeover and political upheaval and religious upheaval is taking place now. Now he cleared one Herkel. I don't know which one that is, but then if we begin from the beginning, maybe this is the Templars, maybe this is Martin Luther, maybe something else. You have to ask the historians, those deep historians in European history or world history. I do consider Martin Luther, he's a Jew, of course, but I do consider what he established is red, something red. Okay, so you saw that here. Uh-oh. Sorry. So you saw here I don't know what that is. Like that's him choking, almost choking to death, right? He's like almost giving up the ghost here. And exactly immediately after that, you'd see the green, right? So that means that he's like Islam here. The green is now, right? I don't know what these are. Maybe you can count. Maybe they're like stars with something. I don't know. Now here we see him again, David Bowman. Now he's like the one-eyed monster, right? Like he's looking with one eye, and again, like very anxious. Anxiety just set in and settled in, and he's going into like changing. Like I don't know, maybe this is the plague. That they, the Bowmans, established in Europe or spread in Europe. It's them, right? Was real plague, right? That from history we know like it was destroyed like 2/3 of Europe or something of the sort. I don't know. But then you see now back to other colors, or that might mean the end of green replaced by that one-eyed thing, right? I don't know. Maybe if you slow it down, those things on the side can like be like defined by some, or they define something in there along the way. I don't know, words, shapes, faces. I don't know. Now he's looking again. Right? Bowman is always slithery, like he slings and slithers and tiptoes around things, and disguised in beekeeper and the red. And oh man, he's got ways and means. The Kubricks, they know how to make movies. Trust me on this. So now he's looking. Now you can see his other eye, but he's still doing the battle. Doing battle. Now, when you see the one eye, you see the red as well. And the pink, I don't know what pink is. Uh-oh, now he's in trouble. Notice, he's almost choking. The one-eyed now monster is, he's about to give up the ghost, right? You see him? Yeah, you see him? The Cyclops. I'm thinking this is Britain now. He's in Britain. Maybe no. Britain, he was in Britain early on by way of Cromwell. He was in France, like really dominant, right? By the French Revolution, maybe Robespierre, but he got killed too. Maybe Germany, I don't know. Martin Luther, like you have to really, real historians can, once they catch the thread here, they will unravel the whole thing. But then again, this is not in space. This is here on Earth, right? And then those lines here, you see as if there's like a star of hexagon or something. Okay, now the eye is blue, mainly blue, right? Blue. After that, you'll see this like this explosion or something of the sort. Blue has just exploded all over the place, right, in Europe. Now they own you, mother. You go in back to Animal Farm. Now I don't know what these are. as you can see, there are things here, and there are two bodies or two some kind of a shapes that are floating, and they will float past the ship. So they mean something, like I don't know, this is Germany, or it's German nations. There's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Now historians must really clarify to me what this is. Again, this is not fractal simulation. These things here are meant to denote or reveal or describe something that is concealed. Maybe that thing, and then the two horns, maybe that's the bad god or good god, one of the two gods. See, now we're out in space, and then there are no colors except that what looks like a galaxy. I heard that those Masonics have galaxies. They're not all one thing in the world. I heard, I don't know. And here are the satellites. Then you get like one leadership, and then around it you get like I don't know, villages, cities, countries, I don't know, tribes. Now something here also, there's like, I don't know what that here, there's one here, there's one there, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what this here is. Could be Japan, like Hiroshima in Japan. I don't know. It looks red and something. Could be Vietnam. I don't know. Or Europe now going back to the Middle East, being controlled by Israel, of course, and the David Bowmans. After they control it, now they go back to the Middle East and start whacking people because the Mongols were not completely successful. The only success of the Mongol is mass genocide as well as the destruction of knowledge and science. That's all. Here, this looks eerily like something that we all hear and read about. You know how sharks have no skeleton except around the mouth, right? Around their mouth. And whenever I see that Megalodon, they find Megalodon mouth piece, sometimes mouth skeleton between now and then. That looks a lot like it. Okay, now we're like cyan or blue. Oh, the war is erupting. This David hit them, right? It's lighting up genocide, wars, and famine, and pandemics, and epidemics, and plagues, and oh man, and destruction of ethics, and. Ooh. He doesn't like La or Hal, the one with enormous intellect and most significant discovery in the history of science. Basically, they brought science and a new world. He doesn't like that. He wants to see Animal Farm back in place. I know that is, as you can see, one small planet or body just disconnected, and then there are these two black planets here, or buddies, or whatever they are. It sounds like, looks like an egg, egg yolk. I don't know what this is, but I tried to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know. There's like 11 and 4 and 1. And there's one here. I don't know. Looks nice though. I don't know who painted that, but now he's moving into space, right? He already pacified Europe, like other fuckers back into Animal Farm, you damn genitalians. I mean Gentiles, and Bowman and Kubrick and whoever they are, they have an agenda. It's largely successful, but superficial success. Let's put it this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's interesting. I don't know what these here are. As you can see now, it's largely coming close to being completely blue with that eye. Or maybe he means that he's using other creatures to do his biddings, that Bowman and Kubrick. Right? I don't know. But the eye is well known what it is, right? Or maybe these are the eyes of gods, some like it, some don't, these two different gods, and according to them, right? This I couldn't figure out. I don't know what these are. There's 5 and then 2 appears, like 52. Like here, there's like 23, right? 1, 2, 3, and then there's the, we know what that is. That's Judaism, right? 23, 2 triangles, or 666, right? Masonry and stuff, right? And then over pink, I don't know what pink is. Maybe Catholicism, right? But then 2 other appears. I don't know what that is. The 11, maybe the 11, good and even. Here you see like those road markings, like road dividers, lane dividers on the highway or something. Yeah, you can see those, right? These are not per chance or haphazard or just to fill the slot or something. They are morphing now, they're not one and the same, so they won't be too obvious, like you always morph and shape, like chameleon, like, I don't know, witches, like that appear and disappear, cloak of invisibility, you know what I'm talking about. Ask David Bowman and Kubrick and their people, they will tell you what that means. Now here, I guess that they're traveling over an ocean, right? Not in space. Again, this movie is not in space. The closest, as I said earlier, the closest thing of it being in space is like really on Earth, things happening on Earth, but the Earth itself is floating in space, hurtling in space in high speed. Now we're becoming blue here. That's the blue god. This is blue territory. And I don't know, you can count those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. At one point, once you understand what's going on in this movie, things in it become mundane, so we understand what you're talking about. Your work is not really that great. Something is here, I don't know what that is, also flying. One here and one here. There's one here. Again, you see those markings here. Now this one-eyed monster donned a different dress, right? Different people, different belief, different thinking, presenting itself as such. All right, this is a keyword here, skeleton key. So Europe is Jupiter, right? Zeus and Jupiter and God and Roman God and so on and so forth. And I told you, I think they were passing over an ocean earlier, because here you need someone who knows the geography, right? I mean, here, I'm roughly guessing that this here is really the Grand Canyon. Do you agree? And then the Grand Canyon here, I think they mean the North America, right? They now made their way into North America. They floated over the Atlantic and they came to North America along with the settlers and so on, right? Later, after the settlers, they usually don't go first, until people have built and cleared the land and established society and so on, and they call it. But as you can see, blue is here and there, right, in the Grand Canyon. So its presence is always everywhere, ahead of David Bowman making his advancing his war machine here. Now you may say, well, the United States have not been in war within. Oh yeah, there was Rabbi Lincoln, right? Abraham Lincoln. Basically, that was a military coup, and that was the initial takeover of the blue color, right, or the Bowmans, and then it perfected or came to a fruition and completion by the assassination and killing of JFK and RFK, John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, his brother. That was ever since. That was totalitarianism in the United States. So now we are in America. That's what I'm seeing. Now it's slowed down. As you can see, the movement is not as fast right now. It's slowed down. The takeover is a little bit slow. Blue now, they blued. Like painted blue everything around now. Even there's a lake here. Great Lakes looks like Great Lakes to me. Here looks like Lake Michigan, right? Roughly speaking. This is Michigan, this is Wisconsin, this is Illinois. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. Maybe. Now here it will confuse you. There's green in the United States. Yes, there is green. Islam was here, like I told you, but now may or may not be as the traditional or Orthodox Islam, like I am Sunni, right? It may be present in other things, right? Like in South America, there was, that's like basically Arab, right? Mainly those who immigrated from Spain and so on, Portugal. They're really Arabs, right? So some of them, and blacks as well. So they still donned Islam. Some of them did lightly. Some of them were, teetering, and but it was there even before Columbus. And in fact, some Native American tribes were Muslims. Now, red, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the Protestantism, or I don't know. But blue is always is always there, right? The pounds of the devils are always there. There's change in the music. So now, as you can see, blue is taking over red. It's basically blanketing red. That's it. Now it's all blue. There's some red in there. Now they're gonna flush them out and take over. Green Island. They don't like that. A lot of green here. But it looks like water. Music is like, it's irritating. Like screeching devils or something. There's some red deer, something is mixed up, but now we're on land. Blue is taking over. This looks like a volcanic something or a river, maybe Alaska. I don't know. As one bank is blue, almost blue, and one bank is almost all red. So they are mingled now. They are about to join forces. But the blue is always able to disguise in red and green and whatnot, you know. Here there's like a battle, some kind of a battle. North and South. Or Spanish-American War or Mexican War. Cinco de Mayo. And as you can see, as the camera progresses and moves forward, blue is taking over. Anything behind the camera is, my guess is that it's blue now. Sounds like here looked like a face. Red had two eyes, right? You know, like here and here. As if there's like a roughly an outline of a face with two eyes. Now blue has some red in that eye. So David Bowman, is donning two different costumes now. Or disguises and using the red for doing so and so on. Now he is showing himself to be green and red. Or maybe that's the other side of the story. Or the other guy. That's the other one. He's changing suits a lot quickly, that David Bowman and Kubrick. I think what it is now the eye has basically consumed or absorbed all colors, all religions, or all societies or cults, or whatever it is what he's saying here. It's like they're all now absorbed. That like succession of eye blinks and change of color means like he's done taking over, right? All right. So here, as you can see, being in control of the pod is no longer functioning, is non-function. That's it. What he's saying is that David Bowman disabled Hal or La, right? I'm gonna stop here because here it's like there's a different context and different narrative. I need to explain a few things here, why he looks the same, and I think the next video will be the last video. So let's do something here. And then as you can see, the screens are flashing and non-function. So what he's saying is that La or Hal or Muhammad or Arabs or Muslims or whoever they are, they're no longer able to, because he destroyed their libraries, right? And now he's taken over their power, right? He dislodged them from power or rule, right? Or being the heart of society, so they're no longer functional, right? What is going on in the pod now is only blue buttons. And as you can see, he is insinuating that the room is blue and then there are those green chairs in it, right? So the chair always denotes the seat of power, but the room now is blue, really. Now here, if you come close to the screen, you will see something that's very disturbing. You know, the look in his eyes is that the look of hatred and predation and loath and disgusting and like here. I think what he did here is mix the eye of the lion with David Bowman's eyes, you know, kind of dub them together, like superimpose one on another. Because now here, this guy is coming ready to really do some damage, right? He hates La, that one with enormous intellect, the one who chooses anything outside of Judaism and Christianity. Well, not Christianity, that's a lie. outside of Judaism. So even though he welcomed him, even though he built this civilization, great civilization, and so on, that doesn't sit well with David Bowman, because he's the spoiled child that will not want anybody else to get like toys or be spoiled like him, even if it's his siblings or otherwise. He's just going to kill them and destroy God. That's what he's trying to say here in this movie in general. But that's what this. I mean, the look here is like, oh man, I wouldn't want to be next to this creature when he looks like that, stares like that. All right, I'm gonna stop here. So as you can see, the pod is in. He's well situated in this heavenly settings, the blue and then the green bed and the luxuries and the pictures on the wall as if it's like Adam and Eve next to the tree and. But we'll talk about that later. We're almost an hour now, and the next video I believe is it, and I will present my final confirmation to what I'm talking about, and you will have no doubt. All right, have a nice day, my friends, and we'll see you tomorrow.